Hello and welcome to Red Eyes Report. My name is Red, but you can call me whatever you'd like. I'll be your narrator for these true Bigfoot eyewitness encounters. If you enjoy our content, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Please enjoy today's report covering two encounters. Let's get to it. It was 2016 near Amboy in Clark County, Washington, just southwest of Mount St. Helens. A veteran state fisheries technician went into the forest for routine work, only to leave with a story that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He came face to face with something towering, hairy, and utterly inhuman. Set in fall with early morning mist drifting through towering Douglas firs and red cedars, our eyewitness, let's call him Tom, was on a solitary patrol checking stream flow and trap locations. He was experienced, naturalist trained, familiar with every sound and shadow in that forest. That morning was different. Birds were silent, even the wind seemed gone. The forest felt stiff. As Tom moved upstream, he noticed his tent, set up near a small creek, had shifted. Stakes bent, the rainfly lightly torn. He thought something had hit it. Then Tom heard a low, deliberate scrape. Metal stakes dragging across rock. Not accidental, but forceful. I came around the corner, flashlight on, and saw it standing there. At first I didn't register it, then it stood upright. 4 feet of shoulder width. I could feel its size. Tom flipped on his flashlight. A creature, at least 9 feet tall. Broad shoulders taller than his head. Hairy, reddish-brown, matted. He couldn't look at its face at first, too terrifying. Its head sat directly on its shoulders. No visible neck, cone-shaped skull. Deep-set eyes reflected dim beam as large, dark orbs. It breathed, deep and powerful. Tom whispered, "Bigfoot?" But his voice shook so much he barely heard it. He didn't dare look at its legs. He feared shock. It screamed, a guttural roar so deep he felt it in his chest, like a freight train. I saw its canines, long and deadly. I froze. I couldn't move. Tom aimed the flashlight to freeze the figure in the beam. It started to move, first step deliberate. Then it charged, shoulder first, slamming through the brush toward him. He dropped the flashlight, scrambled backwards, the roar rattled his skull. Something grabbed his tent stake. It yanked it hard enough to pull an anchor out of the ground. But Tom ran. Through trees, over roots, adrenaline guided him. He didn't stop until out of the woods and over his truck. He didn't look back. Tom reported the encounter to his supervisor. It became internal for the fisheries department, no public press. He was shaken, suffered nightmares, quit within days. At the site, investigators found bent tent stakes, torn canvas, his flashlight, broken, with scratches matching fingernail marks, no footprints traced. The forest swallowed evidence. Tom lives with that day in his mind. He says, "When I close my eyes, I can feel it. I can hear the roar. Nothing else in the world made me feel more terrified." He refuses camping, doesn't visit the forest. He took medical leave for PTSD. This wasn't folklore or distant legend. It was a trained expert, a skilled woodsman, face to face with something beyond explanation. In Washington state, the actual Bigfoot capital of the U.S., this encounter adds to over 700 documented sightings. In March of 1971, a 19-year-old Army private stationed at Fort Lewis in Washington state had what he describes as the most terrifying moment of his life. He wasn't in combat, he wasn't under attack, but what he saw while on patrol one cold night wasn't human, it wasn't animal. And it's something he's never forgotten, no matter how badly he's wanted to. Fort Lewis, now known as Joint Base Lewis McChord, is massive. Over 90,000 acres of dense Pacific Northwest wilderness, old-growth forest, and remote training zones. Back in 1971, this was a place where you could walk for hours and not see a single soul. That March night, Private Smith, his real name withheld, was pulling a late-night perimeter check. Standard duty, quiet, cold. He carried a folding entrenching tool, a collapsible shovel, no rifle, no flashlight beyond a dim red lens, just him and the trees. Around 1:30 in the morning, he was near the forest edge when he spotted something about 100 yards away. At first, he thought it was a tree stump, maybe a shadow, but then it swayed. Private Smith stopped walking. He watched as a dark shape shifted again, slow, deliberate, and took a single step forward. Now, moonlight hit it directly. It was huge, 7, maybe 8 feet tall. Broad shoulders, massive chest, and completely covered in dark, shaggy hair. The silhouette was all wrong for a man. Its arms were too long, almost down to its knees. Its head sat low between the shoulders, no visible neck at all, and it was just staring at him. He later said, "It looked like it was built for the woods, like it could move through those trees faster than I could think. And it wasn't afraid of me, it was watching me the way we watch animals at the zoo." He didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't dare break eye contact. The two stared at each other across the moonlit clearing, him and this thing. Then without a sound, the creature turned. It walked off into the trees, upright, silent, gone within seconds. But Private Smith didn't move. He couldn't. His legs were jelly. He said the only reason he didn't run was because he was afraid it would chase him. Eventually, he backed away, retraced his path to the barracks, and went straight to his bunk. He never told anyone. Not his CO, not his fellow soldiers. Not until more than 30 years later. In 2005, Smith submitted his encounter to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization under report number 11930. He wrote that even now, as an older man, he still dreams about that moment, still hears the silence, still sees the face. He wrote, "I know what I saw. I've seen bears. I've seen men in ghillie suits. This wasn't either, and whatever it was watching me like it understood." That same stretch of forest has produced dozens of similar reports. Soldiers on night maneuvers hearing guttural growls, strange screams echoing through the hills, movement in the treetops far too large for birds. Fort Lewis might be one of the most protected, militarized places in Washington, but whatever this was, it walked those woods like it had done so long before us. And that's the most chilling part of this story. Not that Bigfoot was there that night, but that he may still be there now, watching, listening, waiting. This isn't a campfire story. It came from a soldier, a trained observer, one of hundreds of men and women across Washington who've reported things they can't explain. Maybe Bigfoot isn't a myth. Maybe he's been here the whole time. And maybe some places weren't made for us. If you want more real encounters from the edge of the unknown, subscribe to Red Eyes Report, because what's out there might just be closer than you think.